In chapter 53 of Emma, Emma keeps track of Harriet through Isabella, since Harriet is still in London, and grieves because she cannot speak to Mr. Knightley about what has actually transpired between them. Mrs. Weston gives birth to her child, and so the couple can reveal their engagement to the Westons and Mr. Woodhouse. Soon, all of Highbury hears of the engagement, and everyone is pleased with the match between Emma and Mr. Knightley. Well, almost everyone. Mr. Elton says she had always meant to catch Knightley if she could. And Mrs. Elton feels sorry for Mr. Knightley and thinks it's a sad business for him that he got stuck with Emma. In chapter 54 of Emma, Mr. Knightley tells Emma that he sent Robert Martin up to London on business with his brother, John Knightley, which gave Mr. Martin an opportunity to socialize with Harriet. Thankfully, and at long last, the couple reconciled, and Harriet accepted Mr. Martin's proposal of marriage. Mr. Knightley fears that Emma will object, which she always has, but Emma is overjoyed to hear of her friend's happiness. Emma and Mr. Knightley meet Jane and Frank at the Westons' home, and Emma reconciles with Frank. He tells her again that he thought she suspected his liaison with Jane, but now knows Emma had no idea. Frank says he should have told her. Emma teases him about enjoying his deception, which he denies, but she says that if she were in his place, she would have gotten some enjoyment out of it. She says they are alike. If not in our dispositions, there is a likeness in our destiny, the destiny which bids fair to connect us with two characters so much superior to our own. In chapter 55 of Emma, Harriet learns she is the daughter of a wealthy tradesman, and Emma becomes acquainted with Mr. Martin. Emma and Mr. Knightley attend their wedding. Jane and Frank will marry after the mourning period has passed for Mrs. Churchill. Mr. Woodhouse finally gives his consent to Emma's marriage when a poultry thief begins stealing fowl from the neighbors. After all, Mr. Woodhouse is willing to trade a change in his routine for the protection of a son-in-law, and so Emma and Mr. Knightley are united. Mrs. Elton is not impressed with the nuptials and says, "Very little white satin, very few lace veils, a most pitiful business." In these last chapters, the couples are finally united in matrimony, and it's happily ever after for all.